soon as possible. All right, so please leave a reaction if you can hear me. All right, thank you. So we're just going to continue from where we stopped yesterday. So yesterday we were able to create a CTA. So let me just share my screen. We created a Figma account, a file, and also a CTA. Please, let me get my glasses. Okay, so now we're going to continue. So we said for today we will be creating a login or simply put an authentication screen. All right, but before that, we are going to do something real quick to help us ensure that our works or items or elements in a frame or container are properly aligned. Okay, so don't forget your frame is a container. It's usually seen in the layer panel, which is the left section of your Canva, while the right is the property panel that tells you every feature and characteristics of your frame, which is also a container. All right, so yesterday we also looked at creating buttons using auto layout, which is an automatic alignment that you ask Figma to do for you. Okay, so today we are going to proceed with creating a screen. So now what I want us to do today is I showed us ruler and how you can get it in Figma for those of us that were in class yesterday. And if you weren't in class yesterday, do well to watch the videos. They've been uploaded on our private YouTube page. You can always go back to see what we talked about yesterday. And also, if you're interested in going deeper with class or your design, of course, our trainings are coming up, which I'll briefly talk about towards the ending of the class. So let's proceed. Now, what we are going to do today, first, while creating before creating our sign up or login screen, authentication screens, we are going to come to our property panel here. Our property panel, we talked about this. We talked about fill, where you change your color, and appearance, where you have opacity, how transparent your frame or your color is going to be. All right, so today I want to talk about this feature here, the layout guide. All right, there's a way to create this layout guide as a style in your Figma. All right, but for the sake of time and what we have for this section, we will not be able to touch it, but I'm just going to show you how to create a layout guide generally and how to use it on your frame. So when you come to your property section, you click on this plus whenever you want to do something or add a new thing, either is a fill or a stroke or an effect or export, whatever it is, you just have to use this plus. All right, so we come here, we click plus. If you notice, they are like tiny graphical lines on my frame. Now, what is a layout guide? It helps you to align your work. The grid is there for you to align your work, either horizontal or vertical grid, just to help you guide your work, aside using the ruler that we talked about yesterday. All right, so now Figma automatically brings it out in this format for a mobile, but it's left for you as a designer to customize your grid system. And one of the ways to customize your grid system is when you click on the plus icon, it it adds some grid for you. Then you come here, this overlay, this is an overlay. Come to this overlay and click on this arrow facing down. I said yesterday it's called a drop down. Don't forget. So you click on it. So instead of selecting grid, you select columns. Columns, right? Once you select, you notice it has changed. Now for mobile, right? Standard, no written laws or something, but best to use. You see features when you select columns, you see count, you see color, you see type, you see width, you see margin, you see gutter. So for the count, we are going to set it to 4. All right. And whatever you're doing on Figma that has to do with numbers, please take note. It is best to use even numbers, not just even numbers, preferably numbers divisible by 4. I think Raven is an international app. While I was using their app to do something, I checked via an extension. I see some of their numbers have 13.5 and all that stuff. So it's not like you're gonna go to design jail or serve a design jail time if you don't. But standard and preferably you use numbers divisible by 4, of course, which are even numbers, right? I believe everybody here know what even numbers are. That's not what we are going to talk about this night. But in case you don't, anyways, we are here. That is what Sprout is. Even numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like that. Okay, divisible by 2. All numbers divisible by 2 are even numbers. But in this case, we say not just even numbers, numbers that are divisible by 4. Okay, so let's proceed. So your column count is going to be 4. Now your margin, because it's a mobile, you could set it at 24 or 20. You see, some people set at 24, some set at 20. Now, what is margin? Way back in school, I think it's still on. There's this line that they would draw on an exercise book where you usually write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and somehow the teacher gets to say, oh, you don't write inside your margin. So let's set our margin to 24. Now you see this, the distance between here, the edge, and here is what we call margin. If we increase it, see what happens. So when you have an exercise book, you see something like this. And on no account should you include item in your margin. All your work, all your design starts from here. But I'm going to try explaining that better. You can leave your gutter at 20. Gutter is these vertical lines here, right? If we expand it, see what happens. Our gutter is increased. So you leave it at 20, which is still okay. You can still set your margin at 20, like this, okay, or 24. So we can leave it at 2020, which is fine. And there you have your layout guide. You have your layout guide. So further thing you can do with this is you can rename, you can make it a style, which of course it's when you um advance a little, even at beginner stage, um advanced beginner stage, you get to know some of these things, but we are trying to do the basics for some of us here. Okay, so now we have a layout guide that's 4 columns and it's for our mobile. What are we going to use it for? We are going to use it for proper alignment. Now this button we created yesterday, if you see some, if you notice something, that when we are dragging, I explained to us how to expand and reduce your content in Figma. Just hold the side here, and whenever you want to scale like equally without distorting, you press Ctrl K and drag. All right, but moving on. So our button is going to stop here. And if you notice, once it hits that margin line, Figma will bring out a ruler to tell you you've gotten there. See the line appearing. The next thing we do is to also make sure this one gets to this place. All right. So we have our button and our layout guide guiding us properly so we don't go out of proportion. All right. I want to increase my, yeah, I think it's too big. Let's leave it like this. And I want to make this 16. You okay, it's even 12. So for body tests, we talked about font yesterday. If you are designing a mobile app, best use 14 and 16 for your body copy. So we talked about body copy yesterday. In case you missed a class, you can go back. So in a font, there are different features of it. The font width, that is how big, whether it is, let me use a real human term, whether it's slim or chubby, something like that. So your width is here. Where you see regular means this is normal. But light, extra thin, bold, and semi bold, and black. Before you touch this black, be very careful, very careful. In fact, unless you are doing some artistical design, you don't touch black, not even for your title. Okay, so you just stick to bold, semi bold, and medium. So in this case we want to set it to medium. All right. Then we also saw how to create curves yesterday. That is how we got this edge. From appearance, you come to this place, you see corner radius. Yesterday we set it at 10. Today I would like to set it at 20. I want it rounder. Yes. And when I set it, see, this 40 means all the edges of this rectangle. You know, rectangle has four edges. So you say this place, all of them are 40. I can distort it to make it 0. All right. And you see what happens. See, if I make it 0, but I want all of them to be uniform because your CTA is meant to be uniform, not just aesthetics. Okay. Uh, Now the next thing we do is to start writing. So for this, we want to do sign up. Now your sign up is a title. So we write sign up. I think let's use this. So because it's a title, you are free to use anything more than 16. You can use 24. All right. You can use 24. Let's use 24 for sign up. All right. So then you can notice that none of my work is going like this. Your work shouldn't touch the edge. It should start from here for proper alignment. All right. So let's say we have it like a subtest, sign up to get started. All right. So like a mini test. So your mini test should also be body copy, which is 16 or 14, depending on what you're using. I think I'm going to use 16. Yeah. Or let's use 14. So we have this. What you did yesterday, we are going to do it again today. Hold this and hold this together. When you click on the first one, hold your shift key. Click on the second one, still holding your shift key. Then click shift A to set them in automatic alignment, which is auto layout. All right. So you can now move these two together because they are now one. You do shift A, select one, still holding your shift key. You know the way you highlight in Excel, in Microsoft Word, when you hold your shift key. So you hold it and you select everything, highlight everything, and you press Shift A. Then you have something like this. All right. So the next thing we are going to do is to get the right icons. First, what do we want to see? Now we are going to create what we call input field. Input field is where you input your password, your email address, and your phone number maybe. No, let's do name. Sorry. Because your phone number can serve as your password in some app. Okay, so the place where you type in these details whenever you are signing up is called input field. When you are signing up in any application, where you type is called an input field. And this is what we are going to create. So first, let's start with the name. All right. So if you notice, some of your input field have what we call icons. How do you go about icons? Now, yesterday we looked at these places and we say this is called a tool section. In your tool, you have move, frame, shape, pencil and pen for drawing, text, comment, and this action um, menu. Now, when you click on this action menu, I'm not going to bore us with everything. I'm just going to tell us about one, which is plugin. Plugin, right? Plugins are like, I'm just trying to like break it down and not sound too technical. Mm, they help your work in design, right? They are like third party app that help to ease navigation for your users. This is another application on its own, but it has resources that we need to design. All right. So it is now being infused to Figma. Right. So plugin is not just icon. Plugin could be a whole lot of thing, a whole lot of thing. All right. Plugin could be another application entirely, like a full-blown application. Plugin could be test, plugin could be components, plugin could be um buttons, anything, right? So we're just going to look at a very few of them. Now today we are going to focus on icon plugin. Now, let me go back to how I got to this page in case you're just joining us. We want to create an input field. Now, if you look at your Google um, screen, the Google Meet interface, whether you are joining via phone or um, your laptop, you have something that instead of writing text, they are like tiny, tiny emojis, right? Now, it's not the color emoji you leave your reaction. They are below the emoji itself. It has mic, it has a palm where you can use and raise your hand. So when you click on it, you can indicate you want to say something because it will help you send a signal to raise hand. You have one where you can end the meeting. You have one that looks like a mic where you can mute and unmute yourself. Now, those things, right, are called icons. Icons are they are vector drawings. They are vector drawings. Vector in the sense that I really try as much as possible not to sound technical. So let me just explain it. Now, when you say something is vector, um, it can stretch. It's not the vector in mathematics, so it can stretch without losing its resolution, and it's more like one. Is there any one dimensional drawing right now? I know we have 2D, 3D, and all that stuff. All right. So they are just vector images because if you keep stretching them, they are not going to lose resolution, and they have drawings at all sides. Okay. Can't see my screen. Can anybody else see my screen apart from James? Please leave a reaction if you can see my screen. Hi, James. You might need to log out and log in. Probably it's your network. Sorry about that. Okay. Just quickly log out and log in. I guess it could be your network. All right. So moving on. How do we get to this icon story? We want to get icons. All right. So we click on action. Now you can also get your icon in Figma community. I showed us yesterday, right? In case you missed yesterday's class, you can go rewatch it. When you type icon, you see packs of icon there. All right, so let's click on plugin here. And once you type icon, you will see lots and lots of icon, confusing, wonderful, different types, Iconify, Icon 8, Feather, Font Awesome. You'll be wondering which one should I use. All right, so for me, I use icon based on the product I'm building. Okay, I use icon based on the product I'm building. There's one I'm currently using to build a product. What's the name? Is it progress or possibility? I've forgotten, but it's actually very wonderful, right? I was able to get it in Figma community because I didn't even know where to source for it. Now, in this case, we want to use Lucid icon. Let's use Lucid icon. You can use anyone. Should I give recommendation? I'm going to give recommendation based on some features, not based on some names. All right. Now, there are things that your icon must have or must do. And once those things are not there, then please don't use that icon. But I'm not going to tell you, oh, this is the best icon to use and this is not the best icon to use. Why? Because they are brands and our class goes live. Okay. So this is what we are looking for is name. So we can type name. Okay, they don't have it. Let's type user. Yes, they have something like this. They have what we want. There are different type of icon. They are rounded icon. Um, okay. Let me use material icon, not because it's preferably my best, but because I want to use it to show us something, the different types of icon. So in material icon, let's type user. All right. Now you see that is asking us the weight. Whenever you see 400 in Figma design, it means regular. That regular that we showed on property panel. Once you see 500, it's semi-bold. 600 is bold. 700 is black. All right. Thin, extra thin, thin, uh, light, regular, and so on and so forth. So by default, we want 400. All right. So let's select, I don't know if they are going to have the type of icon that we are looking for. Hmm. Okay. Let me just select something so I could just teach us real. Okay. We have users. They should have user. So let's use this one instead. And let me show you what I'm trying to say. So this is user and it's 400. Let's make it 600. See what happened. It has increased, became thicker. Let's make it 700. See? Let's take it back to the regular 400. Or make it lighter. You see what happens, yeah? So Your icons, whenever you are designing, you should know the type of icon you want. Now you can also get few and on. So let's turn it on. You see, I know you might have seen different type of icons like this. Now on your Google Meet, Google uses outline icon, not fill. Outline is just when it's stroke, but this is fill. Google uses fill. So let's turn it off and you have this. All right. You have 24, 40, and 48. What do you notice? Every number here is divisible by 4. I don't know if you noticed that. So that was what I was trying to tell you guys, that standard, whenever you are dealing with numbers, especially in UI UX, preferably to use numbers divisible by 4. All right, so you can do 20, reduce it, or 24. Okay, so here we have our user icon. Okay, so let's just proceed with this for the sake of training. Now, if your icon, when you are getting icon from anywhere, either Iconify, Feathers, Lucid, Material Design, Font Awesome, Hero Icons, and many of them, you get to learn as you progress in this whole thing. Ensure that your icons are squared, like they are equal, all sizes are equal. Look at this. If you check the property panel, 24 by 24, once you start having icon that is 24 by 28, that is, this cannot even work because it has been set to that standard. All right, so everything should be equal. Once your icon, you don't remove the frame of your icon. All right, you don't remove it. So let's set it back to 24 by 24. Okay, so here we have it. So let's create our first input field, which is name. We are going to come here, hold this down, hold your shift key because we want to create both of them in an auto layout. Hold this to is still on this property panel. When you select your frame and you come and add stroke, see what happened. I'm adding this stroke so that you guys will follow me and see what I am doing. Okay, so let's drag this. Now when you are dragging this, notice something. We talked about alignment yesterday. This is left align and is in the center. If it was center aligned, see what happened. If it was right aligned, see what happens. But it's left aligned. And auto layout feature, this we have a horizontal padding, a vertical padding, and a horizontal gap in between objects. This is name is object 1, user is object 2, and we want to set it to 8 because 8 is divisible by 4. That's not, we want to set the horizontal padding so that this will not be touching the edge like this. We want to give it a breathing space. Hence, we do something like this. So let's use 16. We've set the horizontal padding. Now the vertical padding should be like times 2 of what you're doing. So we can do 32. Oh, sorry. Um, your horizontal padding should be times 2 of your vertical padding rather. So this will have it as 8, and this is okay. All right, this is okay. Now if the next thing is the space in between these two. If you set the space in between these two to auto, see what happen. You are saying Figma automatically expand this thing as I expand my container. See, I don't want to be manually coming back to set the numbers. So automatically help me do this alignment. That is what auto means. But if you put the numbers, you are saying, I want to be manually controlling it. Okay. So for your input field, it should be left aligned, not center aligned. Now, still having the stroke, we want to increase the length of our input field. We can either drag like this to increase it, or come here and write the height we want for our input field. Okay, so the next thing we want is, it's not always good to leave your edges sharp in design. All right, even if you don't want like a very rounded or curvy edge, you can tweak it a bit. All right, so hence you have, since we have a rounded button, we can also have a rounded input field. So let's make it 30. See, we have 30, and you click here to smoothen the corners. Okay, so this is it. Name. So you can say here, enter name. All right, now that's not all. There's what we call placeholder. Placeholder. This is a placeholder, enter name, but the name of the input field should be on top, which is what? Name. It should be on top. And this placeholder, this is actually too big. Then this placeholder can be inside here. All right. Now, this is not all. We want the color of the placeholder to be faint. Let me turn off this grid so that we can see what we've all been doing since. We want this to be faint. This is black. This is not black because we got this lucid icon from another plugin, but we want both of them to be the same color and faint. They are all black now. So what we do is, let's change the color here. So we can say we want it lighter so that it looks disabled. It's just an input field, so it shouldn't be dragging attention with your sorry, it's just a placeholder. It shouldn't be dragging attention with your main test. All right, and this is like a disabled state of it. So the next thing is to have both of them in an auto layout, holding shift, and that's it. So you also repeat the same thing for password. All you just have to do is change the name to password. And also, sorry, now we want to change the icon. We can come back to material design and say, give us icon that is best or suitable for password. Now we'll do password. So password sometimes is usually like a padlock, all right? Or let's use I instead, because sometimes you turn on your or you turn off your password. Okay, so let's it's not giving me the kind of I want to. Let's use this I just for the sake of this training. It's not, we're not saying the kind of I we should use for password. So select your icon and search. There we have it. So you see how it automatically swap. But on a good day, this is what you do first when you have packs of icon. Let me show you. When you have your icon, you are going to have series of icons, so many icons that you will use for your design. The first thing you do is to come to where you have group, all these things here. See here where my cursor is, create it as a component. The essence of creating it as a component is because you are reusing it. If you use a component for your work, right? Component is not something I can even teach in a day, right? In fact, we can take two days or two classes understanding components. So it's not something that we dive into, but if you're interested, of course, there's always room to learn more. Now, while we are creating this as a component, when we make this a component, it becomes a parent. So see what happens. Mind you, when something become a parent, Figma will give it an outline of purple. If it's a frame, it will become blue. Now, when you change a parent, just like when something is affecting the parent, it will affect the children. This is now a child. This is a parent. So let's see what happens when we change color. You notice these changes because I'm changing the parent, right? So if you have like 500 screens to design, and your work is in component, and you're the product owner or the stakeholders are like, we want to make a change in this thing, you don't need to go to the entire 500 screen to start changing one after the other. Just go to where you made it a component and change. It will reflect across screens. All right. But if you change this child component, it will not affect the parent because the child depends on the parent and the parent is independent. Okay, so moving on, we can copy this and replace it with this one that is just a frame. All right, so I just wanted to just show us real quick um how a component work. All right, this is not really like a detailed way of going about Figma component. Sorry, I want to copy and put it here. So don't worry about what I'm doing right now. Just want to get this on. Yeah. Okay, so we have this here. We want it to be the same color as this entire name. So just do it. In design setting, even your input field is meant to be a component because it's reusable, right? There are a lot of things that comes with componenting, a lot that comes with componenting, but it makes your work easier and sweeter. All right. So we have enter name, your password. The last one we are going to have is email address. Okay. So we use the same method to also get our email icon or a mail icon rather, a mail icon. So you type here on your search bar. You can use any plugin of your choice while working. Okay, so let's use this. So let's take this out. We've gotten that for email. And let's ensure that the color of the text for enter for the placeholder is the same as that of the icon to ensure consistency across your design. So your design should not be looking different from each other while you're working. Okay, so consistency is very important in design. So we have these three things. So some cases they will tell you to confirm password. Okay. So guys, I just realized something. So let's move this icon to extreme to the right. All right. Instead of putting it here. So what we are going to now do is to, we are doing 8 before, set it to auto. Yes. Just set your work to auto and use your keypad left and right arrow to toggle each object like this. When you press the right arrow, things move around. So you set this to auto. Set the spacing instead of 8, set it to auto. We want to have it at the right side, not left. So set this to auto and use the arrow key on your keypad to move things around. The same is applicable here. We set it to auto. Now you have this. The next thing you do is hold this all down and do Shift A so that you add them in an auto layout. Now, once it's in an auto layout, Figma will suggest the vertical space, which is this one, for it, and set it to 12. They should be closer to each other because they are siblings, they are from the same family. Okay, and we have the basic of your input field. Okay, you might as well put your logo. Let's create something fancy as our logo. We can just use anything as our logo right now. I'm just trying to come up with something to make our work fanciful. So we'll use that as our logo for the sake of this training. So you remember me talking about primary color. So your logo primary color should also be your CTA color. So we have this blue, and let's call this star. That's the name of our company. Let's leave it at 20. So I'm just trying to create something fanciful to serve as our logo for now. So, okay, we have our logo here and our sign up. Let's increase this sign up from 24 to 32. Okay, so make sure that everything is aligned properly. Everything is aligned properly. I want to give this frame a curve of 20. Oh, my bad. So we have something like this. Though we don't have the third party authentication yet, the third party authentication is adding Google, Facebook, and the rest of them. But please leave a reaction if you can hear me and if you followed me so far. Okay, so the last thing we want to do now is to add a third party authentication. So let's come back here and search for material design. Let's do Google. Let's see if we are going to see Google here. No, I didn't see it. I'm going to use Iconify to search. So how do I search for that? I've switched my tab so you can see. I'll just type Iconify. So for Iconify, you see something like this, and you select icons because that's what you're looking for. You select the icons, you see something like this. Okay, so we type for face is loading. We want to error loading API. Really, really, what could be wrong? But this is actually how I get it. I don't know. There's error loading data from. Okay, so let's just use this, any of this. So when you see different types of Apple logo icon, select these three dots and download. Your icons are coming as SVGs. All right. So then another one I want to use is Google. I should be able to see it. Yeah. So this is it. I don't want to. Okay, let me use colorful one just for this training, but it's not compulsory, right? You can use same color, black, or anything. So we just downloaded the icons from Iconify. The next thing we are going to do is to come back to this screen, check our download. You can go to your library and check your download. All right, you can go to your library, check your download, or here. I don't know if this is really showing on my screen. Let me be sure. Oh, it's not showing. So on your title bar on your desktop, you see this download icon. But if you're not seeing it, just check your download library and you see the icons that you just downloaded from Iconify. All right, we didn't continue with the material design that we were using because it doesn't have the ones we want. So if you notice, even Iconify uses 24, 24, 48, 48. Everything is square and divisible by 4. So we want 24 by, you see, by 24. Once you are not making it square, it's going to distort your icon. Now, how do we go about this? For this one, we can say make it an auto layout by selecting it and doing shift A. Sorry. Okay. Something is wrong with this. So but let's imply another method, but we're still going to use it as an auto layout. Let's create a frame, a freehand frame like this. Let me create it on a black background so you see what we are doing. Let me move these things out so you see how we created it. So create a freehand frame using your frame tool like this. Okay. Then drag your Google icon inside it. Drag your Google icon inside it. And then your text. Or another way you can do it is, let me just use this auto layout so that we learn better. When you have your Google icon, type continue with Google. Continue. Continue with Google. We have something like this. This should be 16. We've talked about it. It's a body copy. So you hold these two together. That is the text and the icon, and make both an auto layout. All right. So I want to change this text to black so that we can bring it back to the file and see what we are doing. So let's bring it back here. See it. So we want to create continue with Google button. It should be the same, the width of your continue with Google button and this and the height should be the same as your input field. So for our input field, we have it to be 45 in height. So let's make it 45. Right? Now my device is really lagging. Let's turn this on. So now we also want to use the auto layout features we use for our input field. And one of them is the horizontal padding, right, was 16. But in this case, we want continue with Google to be centralized. So we do center alignment and auto, right? So this is center alignment only. So we move this to this place. Okay. I don't know if you're following me. Can anyone hear me? Please leave a reaction. Let me go back again. Can anyone hear me? Okay. So now we want this to be centralized, which we don't center alignment. We also want to give it a padding. I think the other one we did 16 and we did 8. All right. So we move it to the center. All right. And like I said, it shouldn't exceed the, what's it called now? The margin. It shouldn't exceed the margin. Let's also give it the same curve we gave the other one and add a fill to it. Let's change the color of the fill so that we can see better. The same method is applicable to you creating your in case you have iOS, you don't want to use Google, you can use your Apple. Then you use sign up with Apple. If your user is using Apple, sign up with Google if your user is using Windows or Android. So you have these two. Okay, this is not really a perfect work because there are a lot of things to have on your input field. A lot of things to have on your input field. Time is not going to permit us to talk about everything, every important details required. All right. It's not going to allow us to talk about every important details required. Hence, we are having a training. Our next cohort is coming up towards ending. Registration is coming up to us ending of May. For those of you that are interested and would like to gain deeper knowledge of everything that we've been trying to establish since on Monday, you can send us a message or DM us and also let us know your interest. Okay, so moving on, we have something like this. Then the last thing that you will see on an input field is already have an account. Sorry, is in cap. Our time is already far spent. You have something like log in. All right. So this is like the last feature you will see on your input field. Okay. I'm sorry, on your sign up screen. But we've not really had time to structure this perfectly and sweetly as it should be. All right. Hopefully, tomorrow we are going to fine tune a lot of things and wrap up. But there's going to be like a task which I will encourage each and every one of us to partake in. All right, so tomorrow we are going to be doing a lot of practicals to see how many people have been following us. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is just the basic, like a very, very basic, very, very basic sign up screen. So, the essence is just to show us where to get icons, how to use icon, what icons are, all right, how to create CTA and how to create an impute field used for authentication. All right, so with that, we've come to the end of tonight's class. Tomorrow, we would like to see how many people that can at least try this because it comes with a prize. Okay. So, does anyone have any question before we call it a night? Can you guys hear me? Does anyone have a question before we call it a night? Sorry, my reception went off. I was asking if anyone have a question before we wrap up tonight's class. Yes, Francis, please.
Yes, please. Can you share your screen again?
Okay. Is that the question?
No. My question is related to your screen, please.
Okay, please. We are behind time. All right. So
Okay. Well, just at the bottom side where you put continue with Google.
yeah.
Uh, okay. Why do you have two of those?
Oh, this is supposed to be Apple. It's a mistake. Yeah. Exactly.
Pardon, I didn't get it clearly. Sorry.
I said it's supposed to be Apple and not Google.
Hello.
Can anyone else hear
No.
me? Hi, Francis. You might want to log out and log in again, or maybe watch the video.
Yeah, I think I can hear you now.
Can you see my screen now? So, does anyone else have a question? Okay, I think no one else. Francis, can you hear us?
Yes, 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 yes. I can hear you now.
I'm asking if you've gotten clarity.
No, 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 no. I didn't
So
hear
what
the
exactly
explanation
is your
you gave.
question?
No, okay. In the okay. I think you have changed it. Continue with Google and continue with Apple. That was my confusion, but I think I understand now. It's okay.
Yeah, it was a mistake. Yes, Rebecca, your question.
Can you hear me?
Rebecca,
All
yes. Yeah, Rebecca, your
right.
question.
Yeah. So usually when you're inputting your password, there's this the icon changes to whether you can show your password or not. So how do we
Yeah,
get to do that?
that is you creating component and variant, and it's not something we can even finish in a day.
Okay.
Yes, it's part
All
of
right.
you creating a variant and component system. So it allows you to toggle off and on the eye component. So that's why I said for those of us that are interested, there's a 6 weeks training coming up where we can have the time to talk about all these things. You know, I said your
All
input
right.
field is also meant to be a component.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and also creating design system. So it's not something sometimes in it training you could talk about it for like 2 3 times for clarity.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, so what we are going to wrap up the class with is showing a bit of prototyping where you can see some things move around, but still it wouldn't be the best, right, to grab in just 1 week, but at least it gives you head knowledge and the basics.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I guess. Thank you.
All right. Any other person? I think that'll be all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have to meet again tomorrow, and we'll be doing task because I've been doing too many talking, and but tomorrow we'll do a lot of task, and we'll recycle back. And I would also like to announce that for people who are able to do their task, Sprout offers scholarship. There's always like a free scholarship slot for students who are performing very well, and there's also like a partial scholarship too for students coming from trainings like this based on your performance. So by tomorrow we'll look at those and see people who are interested in taking up UI US. All right, so we meet tomorrow, and have a wonderful night rest.